chance for you to get yourself to the iHeartRadio Music Awards. It's coming up today at 5:30. It will be your last chance today to do that. Those are going down live on the 29th of this month at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles, and you have 3 chances every weekday to win with Rover and Allie and me. So 5:30 is going to be your next and last chance today. Hey, Steve, what's going on?
Hey, guys.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Well, I just wanted to ask you, because I value your opinion.
First mistake.
So, with with so many people starting to drop out of the race, I want to see who you have as your front runner. Will you announce, who you endorse, who you're voting for? And I guess that would be like, who do you think has the best shot?
Well, only 2 guys. I mean, not so many people have dropped out. People can't figure out why Tulsi Gabbard is still hanging around, but only Pete Buttigieg and Tom Steyer jumped out. I was driving to my daughter's thing in Michigan on Saturday, and I passed a house that had Pete 2020 signs. And I know there were people who liked Pete Buttigieg. I was one of them, but I had never actually seen one of his signs in anyone's yard or anyone's house, and this house had 2 of them in their windows. So they were really on board with Mayor Pete. There are a lot of people who voted early in California who feel like they wasted their vote when they voted for Buttigieg because he bailed out. So I don't know.
It looks like Amy's out too. So.
Oh yeah, did she bail? I liked her.
Yeah, that was today.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, for me, it's either going to be Bernie or Joe.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are people who are still. I mean, Michael Bloomberg says that he will put his money behind whoever the candidate is. I don't believe that. I don't think this guy's going to drop tens of millions of dollars on Bernie Sanders. Amy Klobuchar drops out. Well, there you go. I liked Amy Klobuchar. I think a lot of people wondered why she hung around so long when she wasn't really gaining any traction. But, South Carolina was going to be some Super Tuesdays tomorrow. I think some of these people are kind of cutting and running. But she just canceled a big thing because she had a rally the other night and Black Lives Matter protesters showed up, stormed the stage. I don't know. Who the hell knows, Steve?
I don't know either.
Listen, I'm firmly in the camp. This is going to be the biggest shrimp show we have ever seen, irrespective of who the candidate is. Because people call me crazy, I am firmly in the camp of people who believe that if Trump loses, he's not going anywhere. There's not going to be any peaceful transfer of power. Because he can't even get over the election he won. So, democracy depends on the consent of the losers. You lose an election, you go, well, better luck. There's always next year. Better luck next time. Whatever. That ain't going to happen with him. So I have no clue. I have no idea whatsoever what's going to happen. And anyone who says that they do, they don't know either. Nobody knows. There was a time where people thought Beto O'Rourke was going to be the next president of the United States, Steve.
Oh, yeah. I do remember him.
Nobody knows anything. Right. Now you don't even remember he was in there.
Yeah.
So you got Bloomberg and Bernie and Biden, and for as diverse a field as they had, people complain. You end up with 3 old white guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, that must be what people feel comfortable with. I don't know. I don't know. It'll be. Right. I hate to reduce it to entertainment because it certainly
it's a TV show
is
now.
much more than that. It's certainly much more than that. But I mean, the way it's presented is one way, and people just get. They get beaten down, Steve, if, they're more on the progressive side. Listen, even though Pete Buttigieg is out of there, I think he did a lot of good. I think that he kind of bridged, it was good for gay politicians. And I think that he was a good bridge between moderates and progressives. I think he made progressivism a little less scary for some moderates. So I have no clue what's going to happen. Don't know. I did like Amy Klobuchar. I thought more was going to happen for her. I thought Kamala Harris would be tough to beat. Mm-hmm. I think there were a lot of people that got out a little too early because there was so much attention being paid to Biden. These people thought, well, I guess I'm not going to beat Joe Biden, so they bailed, and then the whole thing gets turned upside down. I think if you still had a Kamala Harris in there, I don't know, maybe Biden will tap her to be VP. Nobody runs to be vice president. I mean, Elizabeth Warren's still in it. There's still time if you like Elizabeth Warren, you can still vote for her. Still time to vote for Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who, the Republicans have voted for Trump and they're not happy with him. Who would they vote for?
They would vote for Joe Biden. They would not vote for Bernie Sanders.
Okay.
Right? They're going to vote for Joe Biden. I mean, people.
I would
there are a lot of people who can't stand Trump, but Bernie Sanders makes them very, very uncomfortable. And I understand where they're coming from. I like Bernie. I don't think that him being president would thrust the country into chaos, but there are long-standing. There's a lot of institutions and financial infrastructure in place that are run by people who they didn't get there by accident. And so they would be very nervous about Bernie Sanders. But I don't know. What the hell do I know? We'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, we will. We definitely will.
We'll have a beer and chat it out on November the 9th, Steve.
Oh, that sounds good to me.
All right, there you go. There's Steve out in Cleveland Heights, I think is where he is. Well, yeah, I'm not looking at an up-to-the-minute ticker, so I hadn't seen that Amy Klobuchar had dropped out, but they announced that an hour ago that she is ending her presidential bid and she will endorse Joe Biden. So there you go. So
she was funny. So she was funny.
Amy Klobuchar?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she is.
I liked her personality.
Yeah.
She was a moderate. She was a female. She was smart.
Grit. That's the word I keep seeing.
A lot of grit, Bill.
Grit.
A lot of grit.
Mm-hmm.
What? She liked grits? I don't know.
She like gritty.
The Philadelphia Flyers mascot.
Oh, okay.
They really liked gritty. That's right. You guys see Oprah fall over?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
See
I
that?
did see that. Would she trip on air? Someone that was like, what'd she trip over? Michael Jackson's ghost?
Oprah's doing this.
Because she hit the ground hard.
Oprah's doing this tour where she's telling people how to live their life. I mean,
2020 Vision Tour.
Yeah, 2020 Vision Tour. I mean, listen, if you still wanted to be on TV, why'd you leave television? Like, the worst thing she ever did was leave that daily TV show.
She admits it. She said it.
Did she?
Because she was talking about, she was like, I had no idea. She was like, I was, the Titan for my TV show for 25 years.
I never understand why people think that there's something better on the other side.
And then she left to have her own channel. She said, I had no idea what it takes to run a network.
If you've been doing something for a long time, I understand they can start to feel stale, and you go, well, I don't want to be known for one thing. I want to do something else. I understand you want to spread your wings. But after 25 years, or she did that show for like 30,
I think, yeah.
You are that thing. And you've made a ton of money.
But you could go back tomorrow.
But that's also what it is, too. But not as easily.
She said she didn't want to bow out.
A lot of people have come to fill that vacuum. And Ellen's in there, and Kelly Clarkson's in there. And
What?
I just saw it.
Oh, her fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's on stage, and obviously everybody's joking about the fact that she's talking about balance in your life, and then she falls over, and she says these are new shoes. I have no reason to disbelieve her, right? You girls fall in new shoes all the time.
I'm just glad she's like...
Walking in some heels.
What is she, 65?
She's got big flowy pants on, and I think they get caught up in her shoes.
No idea.
She's like 65, and if she falls and she doesn't hurt anything, that's good for her.
Wellness to me means all things in balance. And balance doesn't mean all things are equal or at peace at all times.
I mean, you got to watch it, but listening to it is just as fun.
Balance and fall.
Right. But the people who have gone to this tour are like, okay, I paid $300 and they gave me like a Panera box lunch, and we got a notebook on how to live our lives.
It cannot be $300 for
it.
It probably is, honestly.
She's doing like arenas and stuff. Like, who's going? Well, I know exactly who's going to this.
The housewives and stuff, yeah.
Whatever. But
why would you wear new shoes? I've worn new shoes on stage before, and it's always like, because you're not comfortable in them yet. It's not a good idea.
You have to break them in. I'm surprised she doesn't have like somebody who
That's what
their
I'm like.
job
She's been doing this for a very long time. She knows better than to wear brand new shoes on stage.
Their job is just to break in Oprah's shoes. I feel like that should be
they
one
have the
person.
same size feet, so they just like wear them around the
I
office.
swear,
Same size feet, same weight.
Yeah.
So
Aw.
they can. Well, I'm saying
you
that's
have
what
to.
you need.
Yeah, you need someone to reppply the conditions of her walking around those shoes. You need
So
someone.
she's got a bunch because her weight goes up and down so much.
There you go.
If I
It's the
have
Weight
a-
Watchers tour. It's brought to you by Weight Watchers.
If I have new shoes, like brand new
Weight
heels
Watchers.
or boots or something, I'll like try to wear them here for a day first before I wear them on stage, because sometimes you think they're sturdy and then you walk around and I'm like, oh man, this is not safe. So I'm a little disappointed if that's actually what it
Oprah.
is. If
You're disappointed that she fell?
If she's been wearing high heels for 40 years and that's really why she
I
fell
don't think
down.
Oprah's a high heels girl.
Maybe she broke a heel right before the show, and she's like, I need somebody to get me another pair of heels.
I've done that.
And she had to throw those puppies on. And
Oh, maybe. Okay.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
she's a good
Insinuating.
sport about it, and I
Yeah.
like it. It's funny.
Yeah, she made a joke.
I shared it on my Instagram story if you want to see it. It's funny.
so the Oprah 2020 Vision Tour is continuing.
She gets special guests to come into. Like, she had Lady Gaga, she had Jennifer Lopez, she had Michelle Obama, she had Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like, she's had a lot of people come through. But
There was a girl, speaking of Lady Gaga, there was a girl who writes for the New York Times, and she wrote a great article on how would you feel if you found out that your ex was dating a celebrity? Because her ex is Lady Gaga's new boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, my phone was blowing up because I guess he went with her to the Oscars, or I don't know where they were
And
first.
that's like the first time she posted on her Instagram, too. It was with him, like, loved Thank You Miami or wherever they were. No,
where
the Super Bowl.
they
That's
were-
what it was.
Maybe the Super Bowl. They were
were on a
first
yacht.
publicly seen, and this girl, her name is Lindsay Krause, not the actress, columnist for the New York Times, and she goes, it's a very strange situation to see not only your ex, and she didn't date him, they didn't break up like last week, but they dated for like 6 or 7 years.
Oh, wow.
A few years ago. And she's like, we haven't really kept up. We kind of did the initial, I'll see you on Facebook
friend.
thing, but yeah, and then not. She goes, and then pops up that he is dating Lady Gaga.
That would make me feel good.
Well, her column was kind of like, it's this mixture of feeling weird about like who you are and who she is, and also like what you said, make me feel good.
Like, okay, well, I'm on Lady Gaga status, I guess.
But you're
you know?
not. I mean,
But you are.
No,
he came up.
Lady Gaga doesn't know who you are. I mean,
No, but like to them, they're like, okay, well, he loved. Well, I guess love is different.
I guess I'm just saying I would feel, to me, I would just be like, oh, well, she is set to find out what a nightmare he is.
Well, what you don't know that it
Because-
wasn't an amicable breakup.
The way she
Amicable.
made it didn't sound like it was all that amicable. But even so, you figure Lady Gaga, again, I think she's lovely and very talented, but she's absolutely a mess.
I need someone in this scenario to be like one of my exes, and I need the celebrity. Because I think it very much depends on the celebrity that they're
Okay,
dating.
what if you find out that your ex is dating Ed Sheeran?
Okay, which ex?
Oh, come on, you're getting too specific. Any ex,
Any
Any
ex is
ex?
dating
an ex
Ed
that you
Sheeran.
dated for 6 years is your
All right.
ex-wife. I mean,
All right, ex-wife dating Ed Sheeran. Good for her. Good for her.
See?
Very happy for her.
what ex would? I mean, all your other relationships
Lady
are pretty
Gaga.
short, right?
Yeah, I mean, like
5152.
One was like 2 years,
Yeah, so that's not as big of a deal as
Yeah.
someone you
See,
dated for 7
but still,
years.
like, but my ex-wife is probably 10 years older than Ed Sheeran. So, but hey, look at her getting
See,
it, getting
when-
that young D.
when I date someone, in my mind, I'm almost taking credit for their accomplishments. Like when I have
I like
sex
how
with,
he says almost.
sound like
He
Mike.
tries to make it sound not too bad. Almost.
well, when I have sex with someone and then like I find out that they like got into an Ivy League school, I'm like, oh wow, cool.
You helped with that? Is that what you're saying?
no,
I-
he's
I'm
like,
just
I
like-
banged an Ivy Leaguer.
Yeah, like I had sex with this
Well,
guy.
not when you had sex with him.
We
He hadn't
had-
gotten in yet.
But no,
We had the discussion about the what's it called, the Eskimo brothers a couple weeks ago, and I'm very proud of my Eskimo family.
there was this guy that I was talking
Hey, you
to.
got mad at me because I said you weren't as hot as Jason Kipnis.
There was this guy that I was
Couldn't
talking
rock that
to
bowl cut.
while I was talking to him. He was in the process of publishing a book, and I was just like, "Oh, this guy's so annoying. Like he's hella boring. Like everything he says is just like nails on a chalkboard. Like I can't wait to get rid of this dude." And I was just with him because we would have sex all the time, and he would let me do whatever. Then we break up, and I see on Facebook he's like, "Oh my gosh, my book finally got published." He's like, "What a blessing!" And people were like, and everyone was like, "Everyone who doubted me and didn't help me along the way, screw you guys." And I was just thinking, I don't care. I would not trade one bit. I don't care.
I like when people get some success and they immediately crap
Yep.
on everyone who like didn't
Right.
see their genius. It's like, dude, there is so much luck in success.
I was like, I
Here's
don't
what
care
I'm
if
saying.
it was in the New York Times. I really did not care. A New York Times bestseller.
As I've gotten my success and you weren't one of the people that helped me along the way, that's fine. You have your own things going on. It's not your job to try and help me do what I'm trying
Right.
to do.
But I
I
just think about it.
disagree.
I just think about my life. I'm like, okay, had I stayed with him, would I be any happier that his book got published? There's nothing in it for me.
Well, that's different.
Like-
but as someone who has a very "I'll show you" attitude, I think that there's a difference between.
But you do it for petty.
I think that not for petty. I think there's a difference between people not supporting you passively and actively telling you you will not do this. You are not good enough to do this. I think that those are two very
Well, I
different
never told
things.
him that.
They
I just
are, but
didn't
your
care.
reaction to them should be the same.
And nobody's
I don't
told me
think
that
so.
more than me.
Really?
So
Yeah. And I know that with the whole thing a couple months ago, the I'm living for me thing was I realized how much I was holding on to being successful to prove other people wrong. Not necessarily because it was something that I do want it and do like it, but it was one thing that I was like, you'll take that. Yeah, I'll show you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
but
think
that's
just as motivating as
it
someone
might
being
be, but it's
supportive.
also a form of jealousy.
Yeah.
That I
How's
think
it
is
a form of jealousy?
because if you're motivated primarily out of spite, like young Poundcake is over here, by his own admission, when you're motivated primarily out of spite, A, there's no real end to that because there will always be somebody who doubts you. B, there's no payoff to it.
Right.
Because your success won't taste any sweeter because
Right.
other people told you they couldn't do it. You just go, ha ha, told you, and the other person, if they were right there in front of you, go, I guess I was wrong. Okay, see you later. Good luck.
Well,
and
that
you're
was-
standing there. It's the old line about jealousy is drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die.
That's an
There's
AA thing, too.
there's no payoff to it. You know, it's a useless emotion.
Right.
So
But I
if somebody
think it
goes,
could
you
be-
can't do this. Like all the people, anyone who's ever doubted me or told me I couldn't do something, I was like, well, I certainly hope that you're wrong. I'm going to work just as hard as I ever have. I hope that you're wrong.
Yeah.
And if they were right, you know, okay, they were right.
I don't know what that's like. No one's ever doubted me.
See, Bill Squire, he has had an unbroken string of green lights in his life, right?
I
Nothing
guess.
has ever. Ain't nothing gonna break his stride.
Now I feel like I'm my biggest doubter, so that's who I'm trying to prove wrong all the time.
Yeah, well, I
Like,
mean, definitely. I think that's a major part. But like, I don't know.
I just feel like I'm like, okay, give me some free stuff now. Like when I see you again, we
Oh my
left on good
God.
terms. Like, what you gonna give me?
Listen,
I had a friend of mine that I'm no longer friends with. He was best friends with my ex. He texted me and was like, "Hey, I'm super." This is my ex's friend. Was like, "I'm super proud of you. You got all this stuff going on. I was wondering. I haven't talked to this guy in 2 years. I was wondering if you might be able to get me tickets for so and so at Hilarities. It wasn't even me on the show. He had like texted me to ask me for tickets to a big name headliner, and I just didn't even respond. I'm like, I'm not even going to do this with you. Like,
should have texted him back the number for the club.
oh right, I
Here's the
didn't do
number
that.
to call.
I was just like, don't even come at me with
This
that.
person, I've got a special number you should call, and the person on the other end of the phone
Ask for
is going to
something.
give you tickets for this show for free. Listen, Oprah fell, yes, but let's never forget, hashtag never forget, the great Kelsey Grammer.
the best.
The brass ring of celebrities falling as they're speaking live.
Trip through It's a Small World pretending I was a UN interpreter. Oh, good Lord.
Oh, good Lord.
I think I'm... Wow.
Wow. God, it's embarrassing and it's painful.
Frustrating.
Yeah, like you're hurt.
You never live down a fall. Like people will always remember.
Well, I
that.
think you live it down. I won't forget it because it's on YouTube. But,
well,
you know.
even if you don't, like, if you fell in high school, like a friend of mine, well, she wasn't even like a friend, but like she's somebody I went to school with. She was a heavyset girl walking down the bleachers for a school assembly. and this guy next to me, he was like, I hope this bitch falls. And I don't know what it was. Like, he must have willed it to happen. The next step she took, she missed, and she tumbled all the way down, and her shirt came up, stomach big and hanging out, and she just rolled back and forth like she was on fire and was crying, saying that it hurt. And they were suspending people. It was so bad that they were
Like
suspending
she was
people for
on fire. Is
Yeah.
the perfect.
She's like, it hurts! It hurts! So the teachers are trying to get her up. It took like 6 teachers to hold her up.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
no.
And it made a
That's
big
embarrassing.
scene, and the whole school was present for it. So this was 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and they were suspending people for laughing. That's how bad it was.
I mean, you guys.
They pointed at people, and they were like, if I point at you, you're going to the office.
I can't breathe. Stop.
Yeah, okay, so Oprah fell, but Tim Tebow also fell.
Dude.
And that is arguably a better one than Oprah. If you saw Tim Tebow, I think he was in the outfield or something, and he tripped over his shoelaces like trying to shag a ball or something.
I'm publicly and firmly in the category of people falling is the funniest thing on the planet. I love watching
I don't
grown.
like
I
that.
love
I
watching
don't like
grown.
seeing people get
not
hurt.
if they're hurt, but watching an adult human being just knees, chest, face.
Here's
Just
what you
hit
don't
oh
know.
my god!
is
There
funny.
are few things that make me happier than
If
watching
they're not
adults
hurt.
fall.
I was
If
like,
they're not
yeah.
hurt.
But you don't
Right.
know that they're hurt. Like, if they get up and they're like, dust themselves off, yes, that's funny. But like, if they get down and stay down, I'm like, oh man, now I feel like a dick for
The
laughing.
other day, I did that just last week. I had on these stupid shoes that I knew I shouldn't have been wearing because it was snowing outside. I'm like, oh yeah, I look like so cute. Look at my shoes. And I walked out. I hit a patch of ice as soon as I hit the back of, and I just legs out from under me, smacked on my back. I had a coffee in my hand that spilled, and I was mad that I had spilled, and I was just laying there, and I could feel like the snow seeping into my pants. But I was laughing because I'm like, God damn it, I wish somebody had this recorded.
But see,
that would have been hilarious.
Is it worse to go full on teats up, or is it worse to do the dance first and then fall?
It's funnier to do the dance.
Dance is funnier, but it probably hurts. That probably makes the fall a little softer.
Yeah, because you can prepare a little
hard,
bit.
like fall on your back and then you lose.
Yeah.
You get the wind knocked out of you as an adult, which is something that's so rare. You just think you're dead.
As a kid, you get the wind knocked out of you all the time.
Yeah, I felt like
I don't remember breathing as a kid. I feel like all I ever did was get the wind knocked out of me.
I fell on the ice when I was walking.
I got like 2 good breaths.
Dude,
home from school.
Even just thinking about it makes me laugh.
But like my neighbor saw me because I had my big backpack on. This was when I was in college. I was walking back from campus, and we didn't have that much ice at a college house. Like we don't prepare for things like that. So our whole like front yard was just nothing but ice. And I walked up the steps, the very first step, and I was so uneven because my backpack was so heavy. Like I was just doing a little dance and just smacked.
I love it.
And my neighbor saw me, and he was like, "Oh,
The only thing that makes it better is if they have like a briefcase full of papers that opens and flies into the wind. Oh my god!
And they're slowly wafting to the ground
down.
like feathers from a down pillow.
Chase after it.
Yes, dude, I love it. That's the only reason.
Not a paperwork guy.
That's the only reason I'm not happy about spring coming is that the ice skating is over. I don't get to watch people fall down anymore.
Bill's briefcase just full of saltines and disc drives.
I like me some
All right,
saltines.
I got a break. I'll have those Trevor Noah tickets for you. He's doing some stand-up dates while the Daily Show is on hiatus. So if you want to see him, March 14th. Oh, it's not far off. The MGM Northfield Park Center stage. He's very funny. 35192 if you want to